So you're going to show me that Satoshi Nakamoto is you.
I was involved before with Bitcoin.
Look back at that time, what do you think about the people who kind of followed Satoshi and the decisions that they made?
I'm just going to ask you point blank, are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
The identity of Satoshi Nakamoto has been one of the great mysteries of our time. And every few years, someone actually cracks the case.
I'll answer for you. China and Russia.
And this time, New York Times just cracked it again.
I came along and the Wall Street Journal came along and we published a story.
Yeah, that guy. 18 months on Bitcoin. And now the internet has exactly two questions. Does this ignite the next bull run?
Please God, let it be ding-dongs.
Or does this finally undermine Bitcoin altogether? I'm going to tell you why the investigation actually strengthened the case that Satoshi can never truly be found. But what it also did accidentally was expose three specific things about where you stand personally right now. This is one of the most fascinating stories of our generation, and it might be worth the next 15 minutes of your time, so stick around. I'm Oceans, this is Beyond Bitcoin, let's go. Bitcoin is at $77,809 as of this morning and this recording right this second, and it just changed. How shocking. Are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? I genuinely can't tell, and neither can anyone else. But here's the thing about bear markets. They have a pattern. One of my favorite bottom indicators is that the McRib is coming back. Yeah, the McRib. McDonald's brings it back and prices eventually rally. I've started thinking these two things are correlated, but I can't explain why. The other bottom indicator is that someone finds Satoshi. Yes, finally, again, someone found him. Every cycle, the same thing. Prices go flat, people get bored, and suddenly 4 different publications have cracked the mystery of the Bitcoin's creator. Imagine that.
Who is Satoshi Nakamoto?
I'm not going to give you the answer before the story unfolds.
This time the publication is real. The New York Times, The Daily, their flagship podcast, the one you probably have in your ear every morning as you're on your way to work if you're listening to NPR. The journalist behind this investigation is John Carreyrou, the same man who spent years inside the Theranos fraud before anyone believed him. And he just turned 18 months of that same obsessive methodology onto Bitcoin's origin story. And at the end of it, a 12,000-word investigation naming a 55-year-old computer scientist living in El Salvador as the man who built Bitcoin. Do you know who that is? I think you do, because you're watching this show and you're a smart person. Yes, his name is Adam Back, the CEO of Blockstream. He invented Hashcash, the proof-of-work system Bitcoin is built on. His name is in the body of the Bitcoin white paper. He and Satoshi exchanged emails before Bitcoin even existed. Now, Adam Back denied it the moment the article dropped and the podcast came out. Michael Saylor called it an obvious error. The Bitcoin community largely agrees with him, but does it actually matter? That's the more interesting question. Somewhere out there, approximately 1 billion Bitcoin have sat untouched since Satoshi mined them, worth roughly 78 billion at today's prices. Wow. 16 years through Mt. Gox, through FTX, through every crash, every hack, every government action, every Bitcoin is dead headline. That wallet has remained completely still. Why? Because nobody knows the keys. Not Coinbase, not John Carreyrou with his 18 months of AI writing analysis and his park bench in Latvia. Nobody. The keys are private. That's the whole answer. Bitcoin was built for this moment. It was built because in 2008, banks failed and people lost access to money they assumed was theirs. The Genesis block, the very first block Satoshi ever mined, has a newspaper headline embedded inside of it. Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. Put there intentionally, obviously. Bitcoin was designed specifically for the moment when the money system you live in and trust starts to break. So here's the question. Where is your Bitcoin right now? Is it on Coinbase? Is it on Kraken? Is it in a retirement wrapper or a Bitcoin ETF with BlackRock? You bought the asset designed so no one could take it from you, and then you simply handed it over to someone else. I hope you didn't do that. Michael Saylor, the man who's bought more Bitcoin than anyone alive, said the most important thing anyone said about this story. Until someone signs with Satoshi's keys, every theory is just narrative. The keys are the proof. The keys are the only proof. The keys are the ownership. Duh. All of John Carrew's research, the stylometry, the park bench that he says Adam Back was sitting on and made his, particular movement with his face, it's all irrelevant. If Satoshi doesn't sign with those keys, the identity stays a mystery. And honestly, it's probably better that way. So who has access to your keys? Your exchange? The government? Your family if something happens to you? Andreas Antonopoulos said it best in 2016. It became a maxim for a reason. Not your keys, not your coins. Satoshi understood this in 2008, and most people watching this still haven't acted upon it. So the place I point people to who are actually ready to do something about this is thebitcoinway.com. Self-custody setup, hardware wallets, cybersecurity for your Bitcoin. They even have a Plan B residency program for the people who've decided they're preparing for what comes next rather than waiting to find out. Go to thebitcoinway.com/beyondbitcoin and book a free 30-minute consultation. Someone who actually knows what they're talking about will walk you through exactly where you stand and get you situated the right way with your Bitcoin. The keys you can access are the only keys that actually matter. Thebitcoinway.com/beyondbitcoin for a free 30-minute consultation to get you on the right path. So if you've sorted out your keys with thebitcoinway.com, here's another problem that nobody's talking about. What's interesting about the New York Times investigation is how Carrew actually found his subject. There was no hack, no leak, no insider tip. He followed what he believed was a trail, and his assumptions guided him toward what he thought was the right evidence. Emails on cryptography mailing lists from the 1990s, writing patterns across decades, Wikipedia edits, the timing of a single forum post, and a man on a park bench in Latvia who tensed up when his name was mentioned. Take a look.
Great Dai is on the list. Sava's on the list. Alfani, you're on the list, and then maybe mysterious other person.
Right. Well, I thought you might think I'm Satoshi. I don't want that to be on the record, really.
That man asked for the conversation to go off the record in a documentary that was already filming. That's Adam Back. A cypherpunk, a cryptographer, someone who has spent his entire career thinking about privacy and digital anonymity. I can never get this word. Anonymity. A filmmaker found him, got the reaction, put it in the film, and the New York Times cited it 2 years later as evidence. Yes, I'm sure. The most privacy-conscious person in the Bitcoin ecosystem found on a park bench and recorded when he thought he wasn't being recorded. If you think your digital footprint is cleaner than his, I want to know what you're smoking, because I'm not going to smoke that. My car, which I just got, which is a family van, yes, I've become a soccer mom, tracks me via satellite everywhere I go. I know this because every time I park, it shows me what my car looks like from above, and I didn't configure that. It came that way. Your transactions leave a trail. Your emails leave a trail. Your phone knows where you've been at every moment of every day. And when those systems get stressed, government overreach, natural disaster, grid failure, a banking freeze, the people who are purely digital are the most exposed. As you know, GoFundMe froze $10 million raised for Canadian truckers' protest in February of 2022. They froze the account. PayPal shut down a doctor's account for speaking out about vaccine mandates. No trial, no appeal. He has no recourse. He can't get that account back. These aren't edge cases. These are previews. So here's the next problem this story is exposing. What do you have that exists completely outside of the digital system? Outside of the apps, the cloud accounts, the platforms whose terms of service change every week? What do you own physically? Things that give you sovereignty when the digital layer fails? Not many of us. This is where most people have a gap. I'll include myself. For a long time, I was in this gap. The digital system is incredibly convenient, right up until it isn't. And when it isn't, the things that matter are physical, tangible, yours. That's why I point people to sat123.com. They have premium survival gear. And before you picture a bunker in the woods, hear me out. Physical preparedness is the same logic as financial preparedness. You're taking things out of the digital system and putting them in your own hands. Food, water, tools, and gear. Things that work and can be traded, when nothing else can. much like the Bitcoin you're trying to own. Now, if you go to sat123.com and use the promo code SIMPLY, you get 15% off your entire purchase. The Satoshi story here this week is about digital anonymity. The real takeaway is simpler. Don't keep everything inside one system you don't control. Go to sat123.com, use the promo code SIMPLY for 15% off your entire purchase. All right, so now we got the keys covered, we got physical layer covered, but this last problem is one that I think about probably the most, and it's the one that nobody really sells anything for.
So obviously, Satoshi, leaves. He signs off on the software. He changes over the copyright statements, and other developers kind of step up and kind of move into that space and try to follow in Satoshi's wake. Do you get a sense of how much you think they followed and tried to emulate what Satoshi was doing, or do you think they took it in their own direction? I guess, what is your sense for the people who's, obviously you weren't back involved with the project until 2013. The project still, had a strong kind of leadership at that point. How do you look back at that time? What do you think about the people who kind of followed Satoshi and the decisions that they made?
Yeah, I mean, I think people looking at Bitcoin, from the outside as they become familiar with how it works, are often confused about, how a piece of software can enforce something.
Every bear market, loads of Bitcoin obituaries hit the internet, and every cycle, the price chart makes those headlines look a little stupid in retrospect. Here's what those charts are actually showing. Every time Bitcoin died, the community is what kept building. Satoshi was gone by 2010. He built it, he handed it over, and then he disappeared, whoever he was. He had to. Think about what would happen if Satoshi were alive and identifiable and public today. He'd probably be in prison. Every government, every lawsuit, every journalist, every bad actor on the planet would probably be after him. The network's survival required his absence. He understood that. The best thing that he could do for Bitcoin was leave. And here's what the New York Times investigation doesn't say out loud, but shows clearly. The community filled the space. Developers who kept building. Node operators who kept running. People who kept buying through crashes. And people who stayed when Satoshi left, stayed. That's why there is a saying, we are all Satoshi. We are all Satoshi. Now these bear markets, they do something to us. People go quiet. They close their apps. They stop watching Simply Bitcoin. They stop watching Beyond Bitcoin. They stop talking about it at dinner. The isolation becomes a vulnerability in a way. Socially, it's where people fall off. Bitcoin has survived every death cycle because the people who believed in it found each other and they refused to stop building. Satoshi built Bitcoin so the community would have to carry it. He disappeared so the community would have to step up. Are you one of them? This is why ClubOrange.org exists, formerly known as the Orange Pill app. And if you're ever on the Orange Pill app, you know exactly what I mean when I say this community is the real thing. It's actual Bitcoiners who are actually paying attention and actually building towards something. And it's not free, which is actually the point. The friction keeps the noise out. No crypto voices, no speculators spamming the feed, just the people who are actually in it. I'm on there, by the way, at Oshins, OSHINS. You can, reach out to me. I respond to every message. The support you've given me so far means the world, to be honest, guys. And I want to give a specific shout out to Andrew McCrypto for the boost. Thank you very much, sir. That was awesome. I look forward to meeting you in Vegas at the Bitcoin conference. You can come find me at the Simply Bitcoin booth. I will be there. But bear markets are when you find out who's actually in Bitcoin. The people who stay connected are the ones standing when the next bull run comes. So go to cluborange.org. You can find me there. I'm at Oshins. Would love to hear from you. So here's what this New York Times investigation actually handed us. 1, you have to hold your own keys. Your Bitcoin needs to be on your own hardware wallet, and it needs to be in a cold storage hardware wallet. 2, own something outside of the digital system, physical, something tangible, things that work when the apps do not. And 3, know your people. Stay connected with them. The community is what kept Bitcoin alive when Satoshi couldn't be there. It's what keeps people alive now. The New York Times spent a year looking for one man who built a system designed so no one person could control it. Whether they found him or not, the system kept running. The community kept building. The price kept climbing. At the moment, not so much, but that's besides the point. Bitcoin doesn't need Satoshi, so let's stop looking for him. Ask not what Bitcoin can do for you. Ask what you can do for Bitcoin. Satoshi disappeared so Bitcoin can survive without him. And the question I keep coming back to is a simple one. What are you building that can survive without you? Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button below, or you can subscribe to the Simply Bitcoin channel for more content like this. We're coming out with it every single day of the week. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell. You can leave us a comment. If you want to reach out to me directly, I'm at RunDanceBitcoin on X. Otherwise, I'm Oceans. This is Beyond Bitcoin. Until next time.